What's up, y'all? I'm. We gotta talk, okay? And by me, I mean like me not talking to myself, even though I technically am. But this time it's being recorded. For as long as I can remember, I've wanted to build a house. And for the last 10 years, I said, my first house, it'll be a house that I build. Like, custom. Not saying it's gonna be a millionaire house, nothing crazy. I just wanted to, I didn't want to do like Ryan Homes, True Homes, Lennar Homes, because they don't give a fuck about how they build their houses. So I want to make sure that when I'm spending my money on something, I'm getting at least the minimum of what I'm paying for it. Anyway, before I go into a rant about that, and so I'm finally there, right? Like, I'm able to do this 10 years later. And with everything that's happening in this world, particularly America, I feel like with all the talk that I do about the universe, I'm very in tune. I'd be a fucking idiot to buy a house in this country. Why would I buy a house in a country that don't want me alive? And okay, and so this is where it goes crazy, right? Here's where it goes crazy. I gotta take hormones, all right? I gotta take hormones. Motherfuckers out here, okay, let's say I'm no longer on hormones, okay, because I haven't been these last 2 years because of goofiness of Florida. Now we're talking about the goofiness of Florida spreading countrywide, okay? That's one. Healthcare. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want to sit here struggling, taking care of my health for the rest of my life, all right? You sitting here hoping something for better in this country, I don't know. And next topic, the cost of food, everything else that's gonna go up, okay? I don't think anybody's like really looking at the bigger picture here. The everyday food, anything that you've probably ever spent money on in your entire life, just like going up. And guess what? The value of your dollar is not going up. What's new? But let's put it into perspective, right? That happens, right? That's nothing new. But riddle me a time where the prices of groceries ever went up and then came back down. I'll wait. I'm waiting, because that doesn't happen, all right? It's turning to a point where it don't matter how much money you make in this country, dog. It really don't. And me knowing that this country is not number one, like at what capacity are we number one at? Weapons defense? Maybe. Probably not. That's probably a stretch, right? Who knows? But we damn sure spend a lot of money on it. And this is not to be political. This is talking about what's in front of my face. This is me having to make a decision at 31 years old. And here's let's put some context around that, right? Because when big crazy political things are happening or anything like this that was happening to our country, I believe that it affected us as kids for a fact. But there's a different level of intensity of how much it genuinely, I think, affects you, or just on different sides of the spectrum of how it affects you when you're now the adult that's dealing with it. When I was a kid, whatever the presidents were doing, I probably didn't really grasp too much outside of, I don't know, maybe racism that I was dealing with, right? That's something that our parents had to deal with, especially if it was the financial responsibility, which a lot of the times we were struggling. Okay? Now, the roles have switched. I'm an adult now. And I have to make a decision. Do I really want to build my dream house in a country where, let's say after I build the house, because this is not including the fact that labor and all that other shit's going to skyrocket, right? The food's going to be up, light bill, all these bills, right? That's what if I don't qualify for solar? It's not like this country wants to let us have free energy. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, so it don't matter how much money I make, right? It don't matter whether I make money from going to a corporate America job, right? Or if I'm in my artistry, like nobody's understanding that you as a citizen, no matter how much money you make, you're not going to be able to afford it. So what happens when people can't afford the basic necessities and the foods that they need? I'll give you a hint. It's anarchy. It's anarchy. And I'm not paranoid. Here's the greatest thing about it all. We've watched this shit happen throughout movies. We're watching it happen. If you ever opened your eyes and watched, I don't know, Star Wars, One Piece, the Land of Wano arc, or any arc really, when you open your eyes, any arc, we're watching it turn into a dictatorship. And people want to tell me, oh, well, we can't really do everything that he wants because, he got to go through Congress and this and that. Are you really up to date with what's going on? Because his people are in charge of that stuff now. So he's in the meetings and the shows and movies where they got the people who think they're high up, and then they got like 8 people above them that just rule the whole world. We are living in that. And you're telling me that I have to decide 10 years later if I wanted my dream home, right? That it would be at the cost of dealing with all this shit. I'm good. And here's why. Because let's think bigger. What if this is only my dream? And it's not really like my dream, it's just one of them. What if this is only a dream because it's a Western mindset? I know there's more to life to this. Like, now that's not saying why can't I have both? Why can't I buy a house in there and then make myself, and be successful enough to be like, I want to have a house and I want to also live internationally. I think anything's possible. My entire life has been off of me not limiting myself to the possible. I like to do the impossible. And that's a key to life. And where that comes from is from childhood. The child in you that would never give up about anything before adults can tell you what you can and cannot do and who you will and will not be. That child that anything's impossible, the one that would tie up the blanket or flat sheet around their neck and turn it into a Superman cape. That's the mindset you need to have when you approach anything in life, and quite literally it'll happen. At that point, it's only a matter of consistency and time. And you're only responsible for one, the consistency. The universe is responsible for the time. That's a bar, but let's get back to it on hand. Why can't I do both? And I'm just saying that with the shit that he's doing, it's going to take a minimum, my G, a minimum of 40 years to undo what he's doing. And you're telling me that I should buy a house to complete my dream? I should buy a house to complete my dream when that's the result of everything. And so I say to you that it is okay to have a 10-year goal, reach the end, and say, I don't want it no more. Because that's not how I wanted it. And it's okay. It's okay that that's not how I wanted it. Because that's how the universe works. You don't get to, the best way to create your goals and shit is to not focus on the outcome of how you get it, right? Like when you want to, let's say I want to be an astronaut. You can't focus on the things that you have to go through and the trials and tribulations before you get there. Because at the end of the day, you said you wanted to be here. And so this is just your specific journey that you have to go through before you get here. So I went through my 10-year specific journey to find out this is the result. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think I want it. Like I'm already like losing money from this process because I already put money down, non-refundable. And that's okay because we gonna be, I have my affirmations like posted all over the wall. I'm a money magnet. I love money and money loves me. Money comes easily and frequently. And that I got my affirmations. I got my affirmations from the book called The Secret. Highly recommend. Manifestation. Solid. So granted I knew a lot of that stuff beforehand, but you know, if you want to get a summarized version. Anyway, I'm just saying there's a lot of energy here because I'm on hormones now. And when I know that there's countries that give free health care, you know, they care about the quality of life, they care about work-life balance, they care about what goes in your food. There's things that our country allows in our foods that absolutely should not be on our foods, that other countries do not allow. We don't do that though. So like let's look at like the perspective of everything, like all the pros and cons. I mean, I'm not denouncing my citizenship, obviously. I don't think anybody would. I mean, maybe you would, I don't know. I don't care. I just know that long-term staying here ain't the wave. Like, okay, oh, what if the property goes up though? Okay, and who's gonna be able to buy it if I wanted to sell it? Does it matter that it goes up at this point? Like really, like let's think about it. The property go up. It don't matter who become president after this clown. Like, it's gonna be them trying to undo what he's doing. Again, for the next 40 years. My G, in the next 40 years, I'm gonna be 70 years old. I don't wanna sit here and watch everybody try to fix what he's done only 10 days, and we got 1,600 days left for this. I'm over it. Like, all that 13 minutes and 15 seconds of everything I just spoke about, all of that to get the house. And so basically, in the last 24 hours have been more intense for me because it has turned from, I think we need to move to the country, move out of the country, to slowly, why is nobody taking this serious? And granted, I kind of always wanted to move out of the country. Before I moved out of my home state, New York, before I considered like North Carolina or any other state, I considered moving out the country. Like, that's crazy because I was 21 at the time. But I'm just saying, like, it's not new. Like, I can pack up and leave, like, not a problem. Not a problem for me. I'm not in a relationship. I don't have kids. My only concern is, all right, I just got to find out how to bring my dogs. And this time around, turtles and fish. But for real, breathing. You know, they say that majority of the reasons people don't like up and leave, and I mean, it's kind of obvious that this is one of the reasons. People don't up and leave because friends, family, all these things. And I'm not a person to let that tie me down. Like, because at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you. I just don't understand why we can't, as a family, just get together and have a conversation of where we're going to meet up at, when it's time to get out of this country. Because it would be better and this is like, general, for those who are also considering this too. I think it'd be better for you to meet up with your family than to, and then disperse outside of the country, rather than to be scattered across the planet and then like struggle, right? But if something like that weren't to happen, I'm not gonna let it keep me in this country. After everything that I've just said, I can't, and getting citizenship for another country, I'm sure that takes time. And by time, I mean, it could possibly take a year plus, I don't know. But I don't think that, everything listed, like I know I can watch this back and it's like I don't have to sit here and tell you that I'm still thinking about it. It's very obvious that whether I've said it or not, that my mind is made up. Like I'm over 92% sure that this is what's happening, because I've never liked, and I think I might have said this in this video, but I think I said in my last video, I never like the concept of going to school your whole life, well, the first 20 years of your life, and then then you're retiring, what, your 50s, 60s, or 70s, doing in your 50s, 60s, and 70s what you wanted to do in your 20s, 30s, and 40s. Sounds absolutely insane to me. Why not just do it while you're young? And as crazy as that question is, I didn't think that the answer, I didn't think that there was an actual answer. Because it was really open-ended. It's a choice, right? To do that. But really, it also has an answer. And the answer is why. You want to know why it has to be like that? Because you're in America. Because you're in America. You can go to another country, obviously do your research to which country you're going to, and you can have, free healthcare. You can take care of your teeth. You can afford daily doctor visits. You can afford medications that you need for the rest of your life. If you got diabetes and shit. Imagine somebody taking away your insulin. Oh wait, don't America try to do that? Raising up the prices and shit, just things that you need that are out of your control. We're just gonna take these things away from you. And guess what? Y'all not the only ones that have dealt with that. I've went through that with Adderall because of my ADHD. And you couldn't have told me that I would have never not been on my Adderall after getting diagnosed and put on it. How many years later? 27 years into my life before I finally got diagnosed and the help that I needed. You wouldn't have told me that I would have got off of my medication, and that it would have been not my fault, but the government saying, we don't got enough. And then took a year plus to get on Vyvanse, and then at some point I was like, I'm just not gonna take anything, right? So all this struggle, back and forth, you don't have to deal with that. That's an American thing. It's an American thing. The prices of your groceries going up. I don't buy milk and eggs, but goddamn, if I seen the price of eggs and they $18, that's wild to me. I remember getting, and I'm not that old, I'm 31. Just recently, in my 20s, I remember going to a Harris Teeter and being able to get eggs for $1.99. What are we talking about right now? That's just the eggs, or romaine lettuce, Tomatoes, our fruits and vegetables, all of this stuff is going up. And I gotta pay for all of that on top of paying for a house, my G. House insurance, a homeowner's insurance, a car for travel, all this other jazz. Oh, wait, guess what? Some of these countries, they're really big on socialism. So, and affordable commutative transportation. So, you can just bike around. They got bike highways and shit. It looked like the year 4000. Like literally, just like bike highways, all type of shit. Go park your bike over here if you work in this section. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like just overall easy. Maybe you don't want to sweat before you work. But hey, you got your daily cardio activity in. You probably weren't going to get it in any other way. America is #1 for obesity. Our food, the size of our meals are huge. It might be like, that's like 4 meals in another country. Like, there are some positives of America. I mean, I'm not sitting here knocking down the positives of my life. I have many positives. Hello, I'm still alive. But when we're still like, we're talking about big decisions, 6-figure decisions over the course of 30 years. And that's not me saying that I wouldn't pay it off sooner selling paintings, because obviously that's the goal. But at this point, I just feel like if that's the goal, why even go through all that? I might as well just wait and save up my painting money until I can just buy out the house in cash. Because why? Why sign contracts? Why do this mortgage stuff? Why do all of that with what's going on? Why? The downside for me is that I may possibly have to extend my lease of where I'm currently renting, and that's clearly not something I want to do. Like, but my whole 10-year plan has just like, I just kind of just threw it out the window, really, because I wanted to be out of Florida and like back to North Carolina by the end of this year. And it was already delayed. It was going to be by like April 2026. But like with all of this stuff happening, who knows? And I know the universe got my back. So a lot of things could happen for me, especially with my paintings over the next few months, where I might just go ahead and achieve that goal. I might go ahead and just really be out of Florida specifically by the end of 2026. It might not be in North Carolina. It might just be out of the country. And the universe works like that for me, because the universe will be like, you did say that you wanted to be out of here. And so I might just, who knows, be in another country as a citizen, because that's how it works. That's how the universe works for me. And I'm here for it. So I might not have to renew a lease because I said that I didn't want to. Nah, the universe listens to me. Like I said, I didn't want to do that, and it was like, okay. So at this point, I'm just kind of excited to see where it goes. Where am I going to end up? Where am I going to end up? Am I going to look back to this video and be like, oh, you be tripping? And then am I going to look back, watch that part, and laugh because I wasn't tripping? And one can say that because I'm a homebody, I don't experience as much of the verbal altercations that everybody's currently experiencing, at least at what I've seen on my timeline. But when you look at that perspective, it's like, I don't want to be a homebody. I enjoy being a homebody. I love enjoying time to myself, being by myself, all that jazz, for sure. But I really do love doing adventurous shit. That's what I'm known for. And I would do more of it if I knew that it was, less of an energy sacrifice for me to do so. But a new country, might empower me to have more energy to do all the things that I want to do. Because I just don't feel like at the age of 31, I should be as tired as I am. Like, and it's crazy because as soon as I turned 31, I like instantly felt tired. Like, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the hormones, because I wasn't on them at the time, for 2 years. But I still think that like that age don't work like that. And not for nothing, I eat pretty healthy as is. But when we look at what's healthy and like what they put in our food and shit, am I even eating healthy? Can I actually say that? Can I actually say that? Like, to what extent? Like, when you put a magnifying glass or a microscopic scope, you just like to what degree are you really eating healthy? Like, I think I'm gonna live a long life, but I want to live a long, healthy life. And if making a decision to leave the country to essentially go somewhere else where it's more affordable, I'm killing off a whole bunch of stress factors. You know, stress does kill. I don't know if y'all are aware, but it does. So that move is quite literally like this is how I'm contemplating it. The move, how it quite literally saves my life. Stress, financial, health, what I eat, what I'm intaking. All of that stuff factors into how we feel when we get older. Your body, I hate that your body is your vessel, because usually it's done in said in such a cliche way, like in a joke way. But it's true. It's true. And I think this is what it is. This is a 27, 30-minute conversation of me, like, realizing I am moving out the country. I just wish my friends would come with me. They all got their own lives and families and stuff, and I know some of them are on the same page, but they don't got the same timeline as me. They got like might give it a year, but you're not really giving it a year, because that's not considering the time. Now, okay, so you decide in a year you're gonna leave the country. Now you gotta wait a whole nother year because the whole process is gonna take X amount of time. I don't know how long it takes. I'm just throwing out timelines to like put things into perspective of how they possibly could be and how that increases your time. That's why it's like easier to get started on it now. That's what I think. I'll find out soon, obviously, as I do more of my research of like I kind of have an idea of. I got a few places where I want to go, but I got to make sure I go to a place that gives a fuck about healthcare, because I need to take care of myself. Me being on my hormones it's like changing my body how it's supposed to be, and a lot of my pains and aches of my body are also going away. Like, I feel the difference. Therefore, I have more energy. You're telling me if I stay here, I gotta lose that energy again. It took me 2 years to get back on hormones because of the racial discrimination that I faced upon doctors. People thinking that I'm just trying to take steroids and shit. Like, can't you just look at my file? Just the idiocy. You know, the stereotyping, the name discrimination, the visual discrimination. That's not, you know, all this stuff can exist everywhere else. I'm just saying, you know, we have hundreds of years of our history. And it shows in the history that it's 100 years of us just not working together. Like, we are not coming together to work together. It's people taking advantage of people. And by our history, I'm talking about America. I'm not talking about my history as a black person. But we did build this country, so. I'm just saying, though, because it's been hundreds of years, and other countries can understand, hey, we need to think together. We need to come together as the Justice League and figure this out. And our country's like, nah. We rather throw this country into disarray because it's cost efficient. Like, and my grandmother is trying to tell her, and she's like, oh, don't worry, we're gonna be okay. This country always bounces back. I'm like, you're blind. It's the blindness for me. The willingness to be blind. You don't have the luxury to be blind. We don't have the luxury to just you can't be blind, cooped up in your house and, hey, I don't go nowhere so it don't affect me. You cannot do that. You can't. And guess what? You won't really be allowed to. These niggas is gonna come to your door like the redcoats. You think that this is a joke? And anyway, and I think that's an old people thing. She don't want to move. My grandmother always has to be forced to do things she doesn't want to. Very traditional. The only reason we got to move from New York is because the house is in foreclosure. Okay, so when you look at that, and I mean wasn't out until had to be. So it's kind of, think about it the same way in Florida. So anyway, I also know that she had told me that my grandfather, he passed away back in 2001, but one of their dreams was to be old, retire, and live the rest of their days out in Florida. I'm gonna have a conversation with my grandmother possibly today, sometime this week. We'll go to her house because, again, we need to consider leaving this country. And by consider, I mean we're just gonna leave the country. You don't really got a choice. The fuck. Anyway, I love my grandma. When she and my grandfather had that dream, I don't think she was considering it that them having that dream was from a perspective of a peaceful country. The rest of your days living in peace. It wasn't from the perspective of, let's live out the rest of our days growing old in retirement in Florida, watching the sunset under a dictatorship. I need people to realize the dreams that they have a big difference in point of view from when they first realized that dream. So again, it's okay to change your goal after 10 years. Your 10-year goal after you reach it. And you're just like, nah. It's okay to decide that that's not what you want anymore after 10 years. It's okay. Because sometimes what comes with it ain't worth it. And guess what? You're the adult now. You get to make that decision. You get to decide. But I know I'm not a person that says, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have did that. And the reason I say it like that is because there's so much pain involved and resentment involved when people say that. I don't have that because I always listen to myself. I don't not listen to what my mind's telling me. I get to make that decision for myself. I feel like resentment always falls on people not doing what they really wanted to do and doing what they thought everybody else wanted them to do. And so if everybody else wants me to get a house and I'm the only motherfucker that doesn't want to get the house, I'm going to resent that. I'm going to resent that. And I've always listened to myself my entire life. I've always done what I said I was going to do. So you're telling me at age 31, I've randomly just decided I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to move and live a better and healthier life, more stable, more stress-free, more financially free life in another country because I wanted to build a house. Who says I can't build a house in another country? Why does it have to be here? Think bigger. Think bigger. That's the message I always get from the universe. Think bigger. You want this? Think bigger. Thanks for listening.